Hello, I am SeanTyler, and this is another one of my true stories. Every bit about 5 years ago, I was living in another dump. I was living in a really small house in the middle of nowhere. The house sit on the very bottom of a really huge hill. Like, you can't even see over on top of the hill if you try to look out the window. And so it's very small, like brick house, and in the house, the kitchen and the living room is connected. They're both the same. There's only like two or three rooms in it. One was my room, the other was my parents', and the other was the bathroom. Well, I never. It was always ominous at nights, but I always thought it was just because of it's the middle of nowhere, like crickets and freaking animals are about, coyotes, just normal natural things. But until one particular night, I decided to never, ever, ever sleep in the living room ever, ever, a freaking again. This isn't made up. I'm telling it like I'm telling it. Like I really remember it. So, one night, after listening to satellite radio, I was listening to the comedy talk radio station, and I was getting sleepy. It was like really late at night, around 2 a.m. Yeah, 2 a.m. And I was getting really sleepy. So instead of sleeping in my room at the time, I liked to sleep on the floor on my little bitty air mattress thing, and I would sleep in front of the television in the living room. Well, late at night, I would hear something, but it'd be far, far into the kitchen, just very vaguely. It sounds like aluminum foil being wrapped. Like, I can, sounds kind of like that, but it was less like that. Well, I didn't think nothing of it at first, so I was just wanting to go to bed, and it happened again not too long later, so I decided to turn on the radio so I can sleep over the noise because I was thinking like maybe some mice got into something or something like that. So, well, my mom got mad at me and told me to turn off the TV because she was wanting to sleep, and so I did. And what happened afterwards was, it had been every bit about 5 minutes later whenever I heard the same aluminum wrapping sound again. But this one time it was a tad bit closer, but I didn't pay too much attention. But this time it was more rhythmic. Like it seemed like every minute exactly. It would wrap and then get closer. A minute went by, it would wrap again and then it would get closer to where I'd be sleeping at. I was starting to get a little bit scared, so I just hid my head under my blanket like everyone else would do. And I, I I wanted to know what was going on, but I didn't want to check and see. But I laid there still awake, wide awake, and it seemed like it lasted for an hour, like minute of silence, and then getting closer, aluminum foil wrap. I don't know what would have caused it, but it definitely made me freaking scared to death. I'll never, ever, ever forget. I remember vaguely, or no, I remember exactly that the last sound was in the kitchen, but it stopped though. For 5 minutes, it stopped longer, but after that, it started to get really, really weird and really, really creepy. After that, I could hear it above my head. I could hear it above my head doing this. Above me, me scared to death, don't know what the fuck is going on, and then it stops. I finally was able to go to sleep, and I woke up the next day and went to school. That never happened to me ever again.